I am very pleased to welcome our arts department, and they'll have an opportunity to introduce themselves, share a little bit about who they are, and then also talk about their different art disciplines and classes that we have here at Catlin Gable Middle School. So I'm going to turn it over to them, and you'll hear a lot about the arts program. So here you go.
Thanks, Ted. My name is Brendan Gill, and I'll be introducing the middle school arts team. I teach media arts, and with me is Deirdre Atkinson, our drama teacher, Alex Juarez, our music teacher, Kit Camp, our woodshop teacher, and we also have a teacher, Ashley Smith, who is our visual arts and studio teacher, and she can't be with us this evening. I'm wondering if we can pull up the slideshow that will introduce, or if I can just share the screen. Is that, oh, here we go. Thank you, Deirdre. So the Catlin Gable Middle School Arts Program. Here's a photo from my media arts program. It's a student with a camera out in our beautiful campus. That's something you'll see often. It's something I assign students to do. And so our program has 4 primary goals. And so the first is to expose students to a wide range of creative media. And here we see a student in the middle school studio, visual arts studio. And then the second goal is to foster development of students' identity as young artists. And so identity factors in significantly to the projects that we introduce in our various disciplines to these middle school students who will get to experience all 5 of these art classes throughout their middle school time. The third goal is to encourage students to make connections between artistic expression, self, and the human experience. And then the fourth goal is to increase students' ability to collaborate and work in groups. So there is self-expression, and then that kind of expression that you can foster and develop with a team or collaboratively or as part of an ensemble. So we achieve these goals through teaching structure and form across disciplines. And so it's really neat to see students' perspectives shift when they are finished with drama and go to music, or when they're finished with media arts and go to woodshop, for example. Different disciplines, different form, but we all strive for that being one of the venues through which we reach our goals. A robust revision and feedback cycle, critique and certainly peer feedback, authentic feedback by performing and then hearing how it went and after assembly, for example. An emphasis on art as an opportunity to explore identity, build community, and human connection. So we have 5 offerings, like I said: music, media arts, visual arts studio, woodshop, and drama.
So yeah, again, I am Alex Juarez. I am the middle school music teacher, and apart from that, I also teach the jazz ensemble at the upper school. And in terms of my goals, here teaching music here at Catlin Gable, my goal is to cultivate an appreciation for the intellectual, physical, and moral properties of music, as well as guide students in understanding that music doesn't happen abstractly from their everyday lives. And to bridge that gap, between their perception of music in school with their perception of music outside of school. And in terms of that, our curriculum is based off multiple music education approaches. We're not just a Kodai school. We're not just like an ORF school. We combine these multiple music approaches to really provide a holistic music education approach. In every single class, I try to have the students interact with these 7 pillars, as you see here on the slides, which is playing, moving, writing, singing, listening, reading, and ultimately creating. In combination, we use these pillars to build connections and create moments of self and group expressions as outlined in our earlier goals.
Brendan here again with media arts. So the media arts curriculum is about visual storytelling. And so how can you create an image that tells a story? A picture's worth 1,000 words. All of that for student choice is very easy to build into this course, because you could choose to use a photograph for that, or a video, or an illustration. And so rooted in student choice, artists mix and match various digital disciplines according to their vision. And so it's very vision driven as well. So whatever project they imagine that they want to create, I certainly strive to make that a possibility for them and a reality. So the options generally include photography, video production, digital illustration, graphic design, drone flight, and virtual reality. So here we have an image at the top of a photo that a student took of our campus with the drone. And then the second image is something that a student created in a virtual reality app called Tilt Brush, where they sort of painted a three-dimensional scene of them snowboarding. It was like a happy moment for them. Students share their rough drafts and process with the class and practice thoughtful and helpful critique skills along the way.
Unmute. There I am. Hello, my name is Deirdre and I am our drama teacher. You might imagine that drama programs can be a little bit anxious making for many of us, but for some of us, it's the most happy place that we could possibly be, and all of those responses are fantastic. Our drama program welcomes all people of all levels of interest and all levels of comfort. The program is designed to create a safe, supportive community where the students can take creative risks together, where they can ask questions about art, where they can connect with others and they connect to the world and they can connect with themselves. The program is dynamic, it is playful, and it is all about theatrical storytelling and creating collaboratively. While the students are creating collaboratively, they are focusing on using their bodies and their voices expressively. They are exploring physical theater like puppetry and mask and clown. They are working on theatrical design like set and costume and sound and makeup design. They are taking those design skills and they are acting in one-act plays and producing those for anyone from a kindergarten audience to a middle school audience to our families to the general public. That is the goal of our program, is for them to be using theater to create positive relationships with others in their immediate circle and then out in the community. By connecting with live theater, our drama students are connecting with others and themselves. We are studying a wonderful playwright named Idris Goodwin, and he has a quote that I'm going to paraphrase radically by letting you know that our students are engaging empathy by immersing themselves in a world not their own. They are broadening their understanding of the world outside their own small sphere and hopefully seeing themselves somewhere within the story of someone else. So that is our in-class drama program, and we also have an after-school drama program as well. I want to just call out about our Studio Arts program. Ashley is really creating a program that is trying to focus on universal language and artistic language that is accessible to everybody's lived experiences. The activities that she is working on are designed to encourage a practice of looking and actually seeing what is there, using the body, mind, and heart to discover connections through hands-on 2 and 3D projects, and self-agency and a sense of purpose through personal and collective creative expression, not to mention awareness of basic elements of art and design that are universal to all cultures everywhere. The students are learning to value the creative process through self and group reflection, you've heard that before, using a portfolio journal and sharing projects with each other. And here are some of the circle folding projects that the students have been working on. Next up, we have
Hi, everybody. I'm Kit, and I teach middle school woodshop. What I would mainly want you to know about the program, we do a mixture of assigned work and student design, student-driven work. Ultimately, my goal is to expose them to enough tools and techniques and teach them to be comfortable enough in the shop that they can envision and create a project of their own choosing. Whether that's a purely decorative project or a furniture project or something else, something turned on the lathe or what have you. So I don't teach a lot of super specific skills, but that teaching tends to happen one-on-one with each student in service to the project that they want to build. And you'll see a little bit more about that in the next slide, which is about a specific project that I've been doing this fall. As you can imagine, teaching woodshop over Zoom is a little bit challenging. So this is a project that I've been doing with the students this fall, and I sent materials home for everyone. So we are all starting at the same place and with the same access to the same materials. I asked them to design and create a wallet out of some recycled fabric. And the project really involves sort of 3 phases. And this is almost identical to what I do in the wood shop. We're just not using wood to do it. We started out practicing a number of different stitches. And they learned how to sew a button on and how to sew a buttonhole. So we practiced some essential skills. Then we shifted gears and I asked them to create a pattern for their wallet out of cardstock. And many of them did, before they even made a cardstock pattern, went through a number of paper prototypes just made out of printer paper. So that involves some prior planning, some 3D thinking, and a sort of quick way just to work out problems that you might not be able to foresee, especially if you haven't ever sewn before. Yeah, and then here, this is a slide from I have the students keep a journal of their work. This is actually from a high school student, but it encompassed so beautifully the sort of 3 different phases of the project that I wanted to share it with you. So you can see, if you read a little of her paragraph, she really thought ahead of time of, what she wanted the wallet to look like. And then she did this really cool drawing, including what colors she wanted wear of, this was her plan. And then she was able to find fabric to make that happen. So just a really nice sort of summation of those 3 goals, and really a super cool wallet. So that's one of the things we've been doing this fall in remote learning. Thanks.
We now have Brendan back with a sound and story.
One of the wonderful things that I have really enjoyed this year is collaborating with music teacher Alex Juarez on a class called Sound and Story. And so the idea is that music takes the sound and media arts takes the story, but of course you know that you can tell a story through music, and there's lots of sounds in film. And so we teach this course to 7th and 8th graders and have tailored it specifically to those developmental stages in different ways. And so I just wanted to highlight the various projects that students can choose from to create their own works of art. And this is just to highlight that not only do they get to choose various media by which they express themselves, but also various prompts. So it's just very student choice heavy. And so I'll pass that on to Alex, who will share an example from 6th grade music.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, in the classroom, I like to combine different approaches and also have kids involved with the different pillars of music. So in this example, you can see that there is a singing element, and there's also a technology digital element to the project. And so they had to notate their rhythm in grid form, and then they also had to sing, and they first learned the song using solfege, and then they had to record themselves using this digital audio workstation or application named Soundtrap. And so what I'm going to show is them recording the rhythm with their voice and then layering that to produce a self-made canon. So I'm going to push play just so you can hear one of the tracks on its own. I hope the merry elves, it's off to the woods we are. We'd love to see what time is short. So as you can see here, they went on and they doubled and copied their voice, and they had to place it in the right order for them to get the canon. And the incentive was also that there was a secret message if they placed all the voices in the correct spot. So let's see if you can identify the secret message in this canon. I hope for the merry elves, it's off to the woods we elves are. It's off to the woods we elves are. Short, it's off to the woods we elves are. Short, it's off to the woods we elves are. Short, it's off to the woods we elves are. Short. So if you heard elves are short, that is the secret message, and that would show the student that they successfully layered the parts and placed them in the correct order. And so yeah, that's just a small glimpse of what we're doing in terms of virtual learning in the music classroom currently.
Beautiful. And that's us ready for questions, I think. Mary, are you the person of questioning?
I am happy to be the moderator if you'd like me to. If you would rather, that's fine too.
Happy for you to do it.
All right. All right. We have a question. Do students have access to the art studios after school hours?
They do not have access to that unless there's an after-school program. So for instance, I have an after-school drama program that we do a show in the fall, and then we do a show in the spring. And so the students have access there, but there's no one to supervise them in the art studios or the music studios after school unless there's a formal program. Yeah.
Yeah, but informally, certainly students have scheduled time with us teachers, to finish something up or to try something out that wasn't possible during the school day.
Thank you. All right. How do you coach or help a student who doesn't see themselves as an artist or a creative person?
Ted goes right to the heart of things there.
Yeah.
I'll take a shot at that one. I guess what I would say, I mean, one of the hopes of the program and one of the reasons that the program is so varied is we hope that by exposing students to all these different media and all these different techniques, that they do find somewhere that maybe they feel more comfortable or they feel more like an artist than they might somewhere else. So that's certainly one aspect of that. I think the other aspect of it is all of us are flexible enough in our curriculum and what we're trying to teach the kids that we will also look for places for kids who don't necessarily want to be an actor on a stage. We'll look for another way for that kid to contribute to that production, for example, in order for them to feel like they've contributed artistically to that without having to be on stage delivering lines, perhaps. Another thing I do specifically in the shop is I really try and normalize mistakes and the fact that, woodworking takes a lifetime to master. And I've been doing it for a super long time. And I still, when I make a mistake, I show the kid, like I point it out purposely to the kids and I say, see, like it's still happening to me after 20 years. It's all about, we try and really emphasize process. I do in the shop. So it's all just a continuum of learning.
And also just to recognize how they are being artists. So when we are talking about the work that we're doing, when we are talking about the art, we're talking about the drama, we're talking about the music, they're using skills and language that artists use. And so we're helping them recognize those. And then also each student is the unit of consideration. So if there may be a student who is phenomenal at music and they will get some challenge in their direction. And there are students who are just beginning, and then the assignments and the projects that we work on are leveled so that people have entry points.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything to add to that? All right. Do you have performances open to parents and family as a part of the classes?
Absolutely. The drama class, 7th grade, does 5 productions a year during the school day, and we perform those at middle school assemblies. And those are full productions with lights and sounds and costumes in our black box theater. And then the music department has regular showcases of their work during assembly, as well as media arts shows the films and film festivals at the school as well. And those are open to families to join us, of course.
Great, thank you. Does Catlin have a band?
Currently, Catlin does not have a band in the wind ensemble sense or a jazz band, but we do, I know a lot of students have experiences playing instruments outside of the music classroom. And so I'm always looking for opportunities for them to involve that experience in the classroom. And we definitely work on ensemble skills within the classroom as well.
Do you help them lead / coordinate / direct any art shows?
Yeah, I can say that when students create a work of visual art in my class or in the studio art department, that when it's up on the wall, it is something that students really enjoy being able to share with their friends and other community members, family included. And being able to present your work is something that we work really hard on for feedback and critique, And then that goes for showing their work in the hall or in the gallery. The same, it's that idea of being able to share your work and receive feedback without responding to it necessarily. You know, try not to make excuses for things, and instead just receiving every piece of feedback as a gift and recognizing that what you gave to them by showcasing your work is also a gift. So it's sort of an exchange in that way.
Thank you. What are opportunities for students to design independent projects in the arts?
So many.
I can
Jump in,
I
Kit.
wanna at least certainly talk about from the woodshop perspective. In every age of middle school, the students will have, in my class, will have some opportunity to pursue an idea of their own. As the students get older, the rotations that they're in each facet of art are longer, so that opportunity grows more and more as the students get older. So 8th graders, for example, will spend a third of the year in each of 3 art rotations that they choose. And those students in my class would have at least half of that rotation to pursue independent work. And then if those same students go on to the high school woodshop class is all independent work. So I'm sort of building them up to that in the hopes that they'll sign up for woodshop in high school and then be able to spend a semester or a year potentially pursuing an independent project that they've designed.
I wonder if one of you could just very generally and briefly kind of talk about the how students rotate through the various arts in middle school.
Can take a stab at that. So again, it is our goal to expose students to as many artistic media as possible, so that they can get a sense of themselves as an artist in all of these different media. And so in 6th grade, the students, what we say rotate through 4 of our arts offerings: drama, music, visual art, and woodshop. And they do that twice in the year. So they have short units. So there'll be 4 of them in the fall, and then they'll repeat those same groups in the spring. And those are different units for the arts. And then in 7th grade, you have a little bit longer time. So it's 5 rotations and you move through those arts, but we add media arts. So film and photography and all of that cool drone work and the virtual reality. And same for 8th grade. Those are the same focuses for the arts there. And let's see. Oh, and in 8th grade, generally, that is an elective year where the students get to choose 3 of the 5 arts because they are starting to really experience their own voice. And that's where they're really getting to experience a lot more of those independent projects because they've grown, they've learned their skills, and now it's time for them to find their voice and express it. Yeah.
Thank you. All right. Is there overlap between middle school and upper school or high school arts programs? For example, could a middle school instrumentalist be part of an upper school band, or a theater production that includes, is there a theater production that includes both middle school and upper school students?
There have been productions that were middle school and upper school together. We haven't done one in a while, but we did let's see, The Tempest together, and we did As You Like It together. And that was really, really fun with very small 6th graders and very tall seniors. And that was a delight. So that has happened, yeah.
And there's traditionally been collaborations between upper school media arts courses and lower school, especially classes. So the lower schoolers would tell the story, and then the upper schoolers would adapt that story into a video. And so there has been also from time to time, yeah, some collaborations between upper school and middle school in the media arts department as well. But yeah, it is something that kind of comes and goes, I would say, depending on the project and what makes sense.
I'm wondering if any of you could speak to how you incorporate a lot of different cultural backgrounds and perspectives into your projects and assignments.
I guess I'll jump in. When I am looking at, well, when we are, because the students are also looking at the plays that we're choosing to produce, we are looking at a variety of things, including representation, who is represented, who's telling the story, who's the story for, who's not in the story. We're looking at who's written the story. We're looking at who these playwrights are, how people are being represented in the stories. So that is a huge, huge piece of our work in drama, and that's specific to just productions. In 6th grade, we're looking at building skills that are universal, that cross cultures. So that's why we study clowning and puppetry and mask work, because those really do span cultures. In addition, in 8th grade, we do some what we call devising work, which is the students are creating original pieces. And we do a lot of work with I Am From, and creating pieces that are about student identity and sharing aspects of their identity with each other. So that's part of how drama, at least, is working with cross-cultural or cultural diversity.
And I'll just add to that and say that in the 8th grade media arts course, the essential questions that guided are, how do stories shape my identity? And then how does my identity shape the stories I tell? And so it really, it kind of unpacks what a story really is and how important they are, that we carry through our lives, holding on to the lessons we've learned. And then certain stories really do define us. But then there's also certain stories that we can tell, and other ones that would maybe not be so appropriate for us to be telling. So that's something that we really explore in the 8th grade course.
Thank you. All right. What parameters do you use to evaluate and provide feedback to students?
I will jump in and talk about the fact that the students start out with a rubric, a 1-point rubric of the skills that I'm hoping that they are going to have some experience with and some confidence with by the end of the class. And so we have various checkpoints during the rotation for them to check and see how are they doing on these skills. They also choose the skill that they are going to focus on. That doesn't mean that I'm only evaluating them on those specific skills, but those are the ones that they're going to focus on so they can really measure their progress on those. So that is, it's self-reflection. It's also assessment in the moment. So just giving artistic notes. They are, recording those in their drama process journal and going back to reflect on those. So that's at least how drama is evaluating students and giving feedback.
Yeah, in media arts, it's that, there's a technical side of things to evaluate, and then there's the story, and is that story something that's been communicated in a way that the audience feels that they understood the message? And so that's something that is sort of more peer feedback driven. And then there's that element of identity. And so was the identity of the artist shared in a way that was sort of vulnerable as well as connective?
Anyone else?
I would just say in the shop, I tend to focus on effort and engagement rather than results. I guess I'm not expecting masterpieces of furniture or anything like that. It really has to do with the students' progression over the course of the rotation. Are they listening to my lessons or watching demonstrations and then trying to apply that to their own work? And that's really what I'm looking at. And like Deirdre said, a lot of it is direct and in the moment, just during class.
Great. Well, thank you. Oh, do we have time for one more? Okay. To keep us moving here, I'm the timekeeper also tonight. I want to thank our arts team, Alex, Kit, Brendan, and Deirdre. And you didn't get to meet Ashley because she's feeling a little under the weather, but you got to hear about her course. So thank you, arts. And just something to highlight from their presentation, just the student choice aspect that is incorporated into their classes. And, really, I think represents well, that aspect of Catlin Gable Middle School. So thank you.